Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band, different artist, and we listen to all of their records and rank them so you don't have to. My name is Tyler, and way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. While you're listening, go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, smash that subscribe button. And that's all I have for the boring intro. So what band are we doing to end Easy Hard Season this week, Jeff? Go!
We chose a shitty album by an otherwise great band. And damn, did we choose a shitty one too. We are doing Sabbath, Black Sabbath, and they were doing their worst record.
Yeah, but we're going to first talk about all 19 of their records. We're going to rank them. We're going to get through some of these pretty quick because most of them are garbage. We are not doing the Heaven and Hell record from, I think it was 2009 or something like that. So we're not going to put that in there, but we're going to do the 3 Dio records as Black Sabbath, along with Tony Martin and all the other crap too. So let's start with what?
Why do I have 20?
That's a good question because they have 19 records.
I
guess we'll find out.
Okay, we'll get there when we get there.
We'll cruise through your notes. I mean, because I don't think
I'm making sure. And there's no dupes. There's no. Oh, I have The Devil You Know. We talked about doing that one. So yeah,
that was the Heaven and Hell one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't do that one. So you can just take that one.
Even though we actually talked about doing it, but that's okay.
Did we? Okay,
that's all right though. I'll take it out.
I don't remember. Okay, yeah, take it out because I didn't do it. I didn't even listen to it.
My notes with it are going to get deleted. But I'll do honorable mention.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so what do you got for number 19? What is the worst Black Sabbath record? The worst one of them all. What do you got? Go.
This was tough because, dude, there's a lot of stuff here, but I just straight up fucking don't like. I do not like Tony Martin singing. I do not fucking like that style of singing. I don't like that voice. I fucking hate 80s metal overall because of that kind of shit, because of that fucking wail. So what it came down to was really given the option of 2 records, right? Like here, you're on an island. I'm driving into work in your car. You got 2 records here. Which one are you going to play more? So that's where this really came down to, and that's where my rankings kind of hit, is which one am I going to listen to more? So the one Sabbath record that I would listen to the least, I think is just their fucking words. There's no redeeming qualities to this whatsoever. Is the album of the week. Forbidden.
No way. You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
You didn't even listen to these records. You did not even listen to these records. If you're ranking this number 19, that's fucking stupid. That is crazy. And I'm not even trying to defend the Forbidden record. Like, Forbidden is bad.
The next 5 of my Sabbath rankings are just as bad, but there are qualities to them. Like, okay,
that's crazy.
I can tolerate this record for that one part. Forbidden, no, I can't tolerate any of it.
You're fucking nuts.
I can't.
Okay, whatever. My number 19, the worst Sabbath record is 7th Star, 12th record from 1986. This honestly was supposed to be a Tony Iommi solo record, and then the record label said, "Well, no, you have to release it as a Sabbath record." Glenn Hughes was the vocalist at this time. It didn't really seem like they really wanted to make this record, but it was still done. It was made, and then Glenn Hughes was fired after 5 shows into the tour, and then he was replaced by Greg Gillen, who never recorded anything with the band. He just toured with them on the short tour that eventually got canceled because of low ticket sales. But yeah, this is just a straight up bad mid to late 80s hair metal sounding record. A lot of power ballads. It sucks. Iommi's the only OG member. Dave Spitz on bass, Eric Singer on drums. I don't care. This record's just really, really bad. It's bad 80s metal, 80s hair metal. There's one banger. It's Turn to Stone, only because it's it's a faster rock and roll type song with like a Motorhead feel to it a little bit. So it's kind of fun. Stinker is Stranger to Love. Just a truly, truly awful hair metal power ballad. Just awful. And I like Glenn Hughes. I do like Glenn Hughes. I mean, I like a lot of Deep Purple, but it's bad. This musically, this record's just bad. It's fucking terrible.
Good. Okay.
7th Star, my number 19. What do you got for number 18?
The Eternal Idol. Let me see the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just, I don't really think any order. Don't care. This is not one or the other. It's just, any of these, I don't fucking care. The Eternal Idol, 87. This is their 13th record. This is garbage. A lot of hair metal here, which I get, right? The 80s, whatever. But this sucks. Big fat butthole. It's not good. All little chime effects and arena sounding drums. Fuck that shit, man. Tony Martin just sounds lazy on this one too. Like he's just so disinterested. So like
Yeah.
I don't know. It makes for like an overall record where all the songs just sound like that too. It's just ugh. But Eternal Idol, the title track, this one was cool, like in concept, right? Like a slow anthemic closer. But there's just no like oomph to this one. It was just like ugh. It was as if like Journey tried to make like a heavy metal song that just somehow even came out worse. This is garbage. And then Born to Lose was my stinker. That's I don't want to get into that one, but that's just like that's bad. That's even bad by 80s hair metal standards. Sucked.
Yeah, it's terrible. Honestly, the Tony Martin stuff sucks. The Tony Martin stuff sucks.
I cannot fucking stand Tony Martin anyway.
Yeah. All right. So my number 18 is Headless Cross. 14th record from 1989. More of that 80s sound, production wise. I don't like it. And this is the second one they did with Tony Martin. First time with Cozy Powell on drums. They use a session bassist. I guess Geezer was supposed to be on this one, but then he bailed. And this record was so bad that Warner Brothers and Vertigo dropped Sabbath at this point. And this is another instance where they went and toured this record, and the tour got canceled because of low ticket sales. Like we see this multiple times over the Tony Martin era of this band, and yet Tony Iommi keeps bringing Tony Martin back. It makes no sense. Like clearly he does 5 or 6 albums with him, and none of them are successful, except maybe one of them. But outside of that, it's just like dud after dud after dud. It's not a good record. My banger, Devil and Daughter, it's just a little bit faster, has a heavier swing to it with that riff. Great fucking solo, some tapping shit that Tony never does. Like really, he never does these type of guitar solos. But Tony Martin's vocals just ruin it. Honestly, great song musically, but shit vocals. Headless Cross is my stinker. Just slower. It's just Tony Martin trying to sound like Dio on vocals, and Dio's already annoying. I don't like Dio, and Tony Martin trying to act like Dio. Come on. It's fun when Dio does it because it's gimmicky, it's silly, but it's terrible. Headless Cross is a shit record.
Good.
So, have you given your stinker bangers?
Yeah.
I don't think you have any, right? Have you?
I do. You're apparently not listening or paying attention.
I'm just okay. What do you got for number 17?
You always move on without me giving my stinkers or bangers too.
Oh, is that what I did this time? Sorry.
No. Usually I wait like one or two, and then you'll ask that question. I was like, no, I didn't do it, and then we'll have to go back because I think it's funny. But my 17 is Headless Cross, 89. This is weird because I was kind of like reading up on everything, on all the records and where other people rank things. I think it's fun to go to various websites like what's the fucking the Onion, but like for music stuff, the
Hard Times.
Yeah, Hard Times. I like going there, and then I also like going to like Loudwire and seeing those rankings because the Hard Times is kind of like a more like youth approach to like Sabbath rankings. And then Loudwire is like metalheads, right? No, this is metal. So like to see how those rankings match up, but everybody kind of likes Headless Cross, and it's like it's a weird fan favorite of the non-Aussie era, and
makes no sense.
I don't fucking get it. This record sucks, man. But this is one of the records that I love their cover art. I fucking love this cover art. It's super. It's
a cool cover, yeah.
Super dope. But I thought this record was just a vessel for Tony Martin to sing like an asshole the whole fucking time over mid-tempo, kind of boring-ass metal songs. And like, damn, dude, there are really, really terrible 80s drum tones mixed in with like a semi-hard rock record. None of this stuff fits. This is fucking awful. But the only reason why I put this above Eternal Idol was because, yeah, The Devil and Daughter. That's a cool fucking song. That's a cool song. And the bass gallops like Steve Harris. Not really elementary compared to Steve Harris, but it's a cool song. I like what you tried to do. Stinker, When Death Calls, ballad, garbage. Move on.
All right. That's fine. All right. My number 17 is Tear, 15th record from 1990. This one is just it's kind of a loose concept record. Tony Martin it was inspired by Norse mythology. Tony Iommi didn't really get it, didn't really care at all, and he just he didn't want Martin to write like overtly satanic lyrics, so that's why he did the whole Norse thing. Um, it's really not that much different or better than Headless Cross, which came out a year before this. It's just it has more power metal stylings to it, which is cool. It's a nice change up from all that late '80s stuff that they were going for, like on Seven Star and stuff. Banger, The Lawmaker. It has a very power metal feel to it, musically. He actually does sound pretty decent with the vocals, like very kind of Dio-esque, and it works with the power metal music. Sinker's Valhalla. Is that how you say it? Valhalla. This is just halfway between like a ballad and a big metal song. That chorus is fucking awful too. Terrible. Honestly, just a boring record. Tear is a boring record. And I looked at my old rankings that we did last year because we actually ranked all the Sabbath records last year. And actually, a year to the day that we're recording this, we did Paranoid. We did Sabbath's Paranoid a year ago today, and we ranked all the Sabbath records a year ago because I got a notification on our Instagram.
That's weird.
It is really weird. So, but yeah, and I ranked Tear pretty high, and this week I couldn't do it. And mind you, also when we did all the rankings last year, this is before all the remixes, because Tony Iommi remixed all the Tony Martin era, did the Ian Gillan and Glenn Hughes, remixed everything that's non-Ozzy essentially, and Dio, and they do sound different, especially the album of the week, which I'll get into on the album of the week episode. But yeah, what you hear on Spotify now is a different version than what was originally recorded. So Tears my number 17. What do you got for number 16?
Interesting. I'm looking at my rankings too, but maybe because I've been kind of going back every so often and listen to the pod and then listen to our rankings and kind of skip through everything. But my rankings only stop at Technical Ecstasy, so that's weird.
Maybe we didn't. You know what I think it was? I think I listened to and I ranked everything by myself. I think that's what it was. And then you and I only ranked the Ozzy stuff last time because I listened to everything because I ranked everything.
Yeah, mine stopped. I mean, technically mine stopped at Heaven and Hell, but that's it.
Okay.
But I put Heaven and Hell above Technical Ecstasy, which is fair.
Oh, okay. We'll see. So what do you got for number 16? Go.
Tear, Gypsy Tears, 15th record, 1990. This is just theatrical. It's Headless Cross Part 2, same shit, smidge better, I guess. It's just like, I agree. Like The Lawmaker, that's my banger. It's a faster song. Like the production overall on this sounds like one of them like sweetest speed metal records. So I like that aspect of it, but this record sucks, dude. It's not fucking good. It's dumb. Odin's Court, another fucking garbage ballad song. I didn't even get through it. Didn't even finish it. Skipped it. I'm like, I'm just fucking done with this. I'm just so done with Tony Martin. And we'll get into him like the album of the week, but this Cozy Powell guy, man, like he's like lauded as one of the greatest drummers of all time. And like I went back and listened to Jeff Beck stuff. I was like, yeah, this guy's really good. Like, what were you thinking?
I know. Yeah.
What happened, bro? Like, what were you doing here? What do they do to you?
I don't even know what they do. I don't even know what they do.
What do they do? So yeah, Tear. This record sucks. I don't care. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, my number. Oh yeah, you did say your banger and stinker. Okay. My 16 is Eternal Idol, 13th record from 1987, and this is just musically, it has some of the heaviest riffs Iommi has done since Mob Rules and the Ozzy era, which is really cool. Tony Martin does this. Obviously, he does the Dio knockoff stuff, but there's a lot of Michael Bolton. I hear a lot of Michael Bolton here, and I know Michael Bolton started as like a hair metal, power metal guy in the early '80s and shit. But I hear a lot of Michael Bolton. It's fucking weird. But yeah, the album's pretty mediocre. Musically, it's cool. Vocally, it's terrible, and just like the background behind this whole record too. So Ray Gillan he recorded all the vocals for this record, and then they ended up not liking him, so they fired him. And then Tony Martin came in and redid all the vocals that Ray Gillan had already done. So there's supposedly there's like this whole album with Ray Gillan on vocals, and he never did any other record. There were also a lot of lineup changes because Tony Iommi thought it was a good idea to play in South Africa during this time, during apartheid. and a lot of people were like, you know what, we're distancing ourselves from you because of all that shit. And then there was a video music. Did you read about the music video?
Mm-mm.
So they made a music video for the song The Shining, and they didn't have a bass player at the time because of all the lineup changes. So they went outside, like outside of the wherever they were filming it, and they found some random dude on the street, and they were like, "Hey, you want to be in a music video?" And he came in. They didn't know his name. They didn't pay him anything. They just gave him a bass, and he didn't even know how to play the bass. But he's in the video, and they still don't even know who that guy is.
Oh
Who's in
my
the music
God.
video? Just some random fucking guy off the street.
So cool.
So yeah, this record's a mess in every way. Musically, how it was made. They went through 3 different producers. It's a shit record. Like, it honestly is a bad record. Eternal Idol. My banger, Hard Life to Live. Great guitars and bass on this one. The riff is fucking awesome. Once again, Tony Martin sucks. Stinker, Nightmare. It's a slower jam. It's a ballad with a heavy riff that kind of trudges along in certain parts, but overall, it's a bad ballad. It's a bad ballad. So Eternal Idol, my number 16.
How would you even like prove that would be you, right? Like, oh, I'm the guy in the video. How would, like, just at this point, there's no fucking way anybody would ever believe you.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Whatever. All right. Next up, 7 Star. That's my 15.
Fuck, it's about time.
Like, I get it. This is supposed to be an Iommi solo record, so the songs are just incredibly mediocre. But they try to revolve around Tony soloing or laying cool kind of metal riffage. It's underwhelming for sure. But going backwards, I think, because I went backwards with the listen through.
Mm-hmm.
So like I got 7 Star, or no, I got Tear, and then Headless Cross, and then Eternal Idol, and then I got 7 Star. And I was like, oh, thank God, dude, I'm fucking done with that shit. So I think that's why I put it up higher than the 3 Tony Martin records. But it's not good. It's not a good record. It's still fucking garbage. It's
terrible.
Fucking awful. Turn Me to Stone. I think you had Turn Me to Stone as your banger too. Maybe.
I believe so. Well, I don't know. Let me see.
Because if you took
Turn to Stone. Yeah.
If you took out like Glenn's vocals, you get a fucking banger of a song. Like, it has a killer drum beat to start off with, just like some Motley Crue style fucking sloppy ass drum beat, and it's a cool song. But I just don't care. Heart Like a Wheel, that's my stinker. Fuck this song. It's like this weird bluesy metal number, but ends up just being like a shitty bar band at like a dive bar. Their breakout tunes. Ugh. I'm gonna use that a lot. Like, a lot of the stuff in the non-Aussie era just sounds like a bar band, and they wrote a song that they think sounds fucking amazing, and it's fucking garbage.
It's garbage. Yeah, I would agree with you.
That's a lot of non-Aussie Sabbath.
Especially Tony Martin, man. The guy is such a mediocre vocalist.
He's a hack.
I really wanted
hack.
to try and like the guy because he made so many records with him.
Yeah.
But that sucks. All right. That was your 15?
15.
You did your banger, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because we had the same banger. That's right. 15 is Dehumanizer, 16th record from 92. Dio's back, baby. So is Geezer back on bass, and then Vinny Appice came back on drums. Cozy Powell was supposed to play drums on this one, but his horse died while he was riding it, and he fell and broke his hip, which is crazy. His horse dies while he's riding.
That's something, dude.
So he broke his pelvis and all that shit. This record it took about a year to make. It cost $1 million. They hated each other while they made it. Like, their egos clashed. Like, clearly Tony Iommi is the problem.
Yeah.
Or not the problem, but he's the leader of the band. And when you have somebody like Dio who has a huge fucking ego, it's gonna fucking clash. And it happened on this record. And it's fine. This record, it's certainly not the best Dio record, and I'm not a big fan of Dio. I think he's gimmicky, he's goofy at times. Some good crunchy guitar on this one. Like, the production is good on this one because they've left that 80s sound, and they've kind of gone back to the Dio stuff, to the late Ozzy stuff. Did you just fart?
Mm-mm.
What the hell was that sound?
Mm-mm.
Your chair or something? I don't know. That was weird. And then also Geezer's back. So, I mean, what a step up in bass playing. Like, the bass lines and just the power of the bass on this record is significant compared to everything we heard prior or with the other bass players. But yeah, Geezer, just an absolute monster on the bass too. Banger is TV Crime. Faster song, really, really crushing riff, super fucking awesome solo. Geezer is wanky all over it. And Dio's toned down a little bit. He's not as goofy, he's not as gimmicky, so that's always nice. Stinker is Too Late, just a dumb, boring ballad. Don't like it. So it's my number 15, Dehumanizer.
Okay. Here's where I would put The Devil You Know. I would put it right here.
Okay.
But we're not doing it. I just want to throw it out there because I listened to it. It took a little bit of effort. But my 14 is Dehumanizer. This, I get it. Like it's fun because the approach of this was like, no dubs and first take, best take type of thing. They want to sound like their live shows, and that does come through. It makes for a better listening experience when I know that this is probably going to sound like shit otherwise. And it's an okay record. It's very meh, but I like Dio a lot here because Dio's not singing for Dio. He's singing for Sabbath. He's not being over the top. He's keeping it cool, and he's playing to these songs. He's singing to these songs. He's not being an asshole about it. Something that I don't think he's ever done outside of Heaven and Hell. So I like that. I think it's cool. But again, this record's fucking dumb. Sins of Our Father, that was my banger for whatever it's worth, because we really tried to make a banger and a worse song. The best singing on the record for Dio. He's again just singing to the music and not singing for Dio. And at one point, the song kicks up a little bit and gets a little bit nasty, and that's fun. Otherwise, I don't give a fuck. After all, that's the best. That's my least favorite song. This again, good concept of a song, just shitty like execution. Like it was heavy but not too heavy. And Vinny's a theater kid drummer, dude. Right? Like Bill was a metal drummer, so like the drums on this one split their fortes like perfectly. You can hear like this is a metal band and you hear a theater kid play drums. Like, dude, if you put Bill onto this, like, fuck, man, now we have a good metal track. We have something that fucking instills, it frightens kids when they hear it. Here we just have like a fucking Motley Crue drummer. Like, who cares? I don't care.
Yeah, I agree. All right. My number 14 then is Cross Purposes, 17th record from 1994. Tony Martin's back, but who gives a fuck? Geezer is still here, and new drummer Bobby Rondinelli. I think this is the only record he played on. And at this point, this is supposed to be a not Sabbath record, not a solo record, but a different band, because they were also in talks of doing a reunion with Ozzy with the OG band. And so everybody was under the impression, Geezer especially, because otherwise he said he wouldn't have done this record had he known this was going to be a Sabbath record. But once again, the label stepped in and said, you have to release this as a Sabbath record. And that's what we have here. Geezer was very upset about it, which I get. I think it's a pretty average record. I don't think there's anything terrible about it. You could hear a lot of the grunge sound that was coming out in the early 90s, early mid 90s. So you hear that influence there. I don't have anything too terrible to say. I mean, Tony Martin is obviously, I don't like his vocals, but whatever. Banger is Eyewitness. It's the opener, fast song, driving riff, squirrely bass, really solid solo. Even Tony Martin's his vocals aren't terrible on this one. Stinker is Dying for Love, slow song, very ballad, just bad, just straight up bad. And then, so I will say too, because I made it on Spotify. I made a banger list of non-Aussie tracks. There's like 11 songs on there. That's all I could pick out. But honestly, most of them are like the openers from these albums, like great fucking openers. And then it just drops off. These albums just drop off after that first song. After that first song, they just mostly suck. So, and this is one of those examples. Cross Purposes is one of those examples. So that's my 14. What do you got for 13? Go.
Cross Purposes, 94. The biggest takeaway is how like pretty 90s era metal this is. Mm-hmm. There are definitely times, I agree, you hear the grunge influence, you hear the alt rock scene kind of creep in there. I don't like this record. My biggest banger was Psychophobia. I think I even texted it to you. I think it's a cool song. I dig it.
You did. Yeah, you told me to put it on my playlist, and I didn't put it on my playlist.
That's something. But it's just, I like it because it's the most like generic alt rocky sounding thing of this album. Something that later like Soundgarden would have recorded or something. It was a fun track, but like, dude, this is Sabbath, bro. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Come on,
in 1994.
Guys. In 94. Pathetic. We'll get to even more pathetic. You didn't even said the album of the week. You're crazy.
We'll see. Maybe I loved it.
Yeah, you probably did.
Maybe it's
That
above some of the Ozzy
sucks,
ones,
dude. No.
Maybe it's above some of the Ozzy ones.
Nah, you're a purist. You're like surf rock purists. There's no way you would do that. What's the use? That's the biggest stinker. It's a bonus track, but the instrumental part of it's kind of like ugh. And Tony Martin probably this is one of his worst performances I've ever heard from him. He took this to a whole new level. That fucker.
That fucker.
There are a lot of times where I was listening to it, I'm like, you fucking dickhead, dude. You ruined that song. You piece of shit. That was a cool song, and you fucked it up.
You fucked it up. And once again, I don't know why Tony Iommi kept bringing him back. 5-6 records. Just
he's probably just a fucking yes man. He probably just tells, oh yeah, Tony, that sounds good. I'll sing the same exact fucking way on that. Tell me what to do and I'll do it. Sign my paycheck.
Yeah, not good. So my number 13 is Forbidden, the album of the week. Finally.
Good Lord.
Their 18th record from 1995. So what do you got for number 13?
How did we not do number 13 already? What did I skip?
What'd you skip?
13, it was cross purposes for me.
Oh yeah, so then you're number 12 because you go first. I forgot.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Number 12.
So you're number 12. Go.
So now we're getting into stuff that like I have good things to say, and there was interesting things, and I liked it. I don't love it, but like it was a good listen, and I'm happy with it, and I'll do it again at some point, and I won't complain as much as I did previous for the other 13 above. Born Again. This is my number 12, 11th record. I will say this is my favorite cover art of any Sabbath record.
The album cover is wild.
This is my favorite. I love that two-tone, that red and purple, just really, really rich purple, really, really rich red. It's aggressive. It is not metal. It's not
like that. It's like
anything.
that lottery t-shirt that you have.
Yeah, that's exactly
what it's like.
Exactly.
That purple shirt you wear.
This is so aggressively obnoxious, and it's an ugly ass fucking baby on the cover, but it's cool. It's just fuck it. I don't care. I like it. This like legit. This is my favorite cover art they've ever done, and I like Ian Gillan here. Like he's exciting for this type of metal. It doesn't go over the top like Tony, and he's not like theatrical like Dio. He's kind of has like he has a little thing here. It's not great, but it's fun, and it's a fun listen. Zero the Hero is my banger. Classic chuggy Sabbath. A lot of cool guitar noodling the whole time. And there's just not much singing.
Dogs barking.
Dogs are barking. 7 minutes long. That's a good song. That's a banger of a song, actually, I will say. But my worst song is Stonehenge. Dude, just noises. Unnecessary. Fuck off. What are you doing? They do this a lot, too. They have a lot of transition songs that are completely fucking meaningless.
Yeah, especially in the Ozzy era. I never really realized how many were in the Ozzy era. So.
Yeah, completely fucking meaningless.
All right, so my number 12 is Mob Rules, 10th record from 1981. This is the second one with Dio, and then the last until the Dehumanizer record in 92. First on with Vinny Appice on the drums. This is like a good combination or better combination of the earlier gloomy Sabbath with the later pop metal stuff that you hear on Never Say Die, Technical Ecstasy, and then even what is the other Dio record? Heaven and Hell. Jesus Christ. Yeah. But obviously the drums are pretty fucking different because Vinny's a much different drummer than Bill Ward. So you don't have that big bombastic swing on this record like you did with Heaven and Hell, the Heaven and Hell record. The guitar tone, I love it. It's gritty. It has this like gritty shine to it. That's the only way I could really feel like I could describe it. It has a gritty shine to it. I really, really liked it. It matches Dio's voice way better than I feel like it does on Heaven and Hell. In the end, there's some really cool parts of music, like they absolutely kill it musically on this one. But Dio, once again, if you like Dio, I get why people love this, but I can't get behind Dio. I really can't. I don't get it at all. And then Dio and Vinny left right after this tour because the egos of Dio and Tony Iommi. So I don't know. Mob Rules. I like I said, I totally get why people like it, but it's not for me. And my banger, Turn Up the Night, opening song, banger. The shredding guitars, like Tony kills it with these solos on this song. And I couldn't think of a stinker. I just don't have a stinker on this one. This is the only record on this out of this whole list that I don't have a stinker on. Because there's nothing bad on here, but there's so much stuff on this record that is just kind of okay. It's a fine. So
I was
it's a
wondering
it's
when
a
this was
fine.
gonna come up. I thought you were
And
gonna
it's
save it
mob
for the
rules.
Aussie era. My the encore thing. My stinker is Aussie era has no stinkers. That's what I thought you were gonna do. So my stinker is there's not enough Aussie records. Fucking A.
I'm not that. I'm not
Fucking
that wild.
hell.
Fucking gay. All right. So what do you got for number 11?
Number 11, Mob Rules, 10th record. This is
Okay.
this record's fine. It really does sound like what is just going to become Holy Diver. Like it makes sense, right? Because we got Vinny here who also played on Holy Diver, so they're going to
Mhm.
leave and have a pretty damn successful career compared to this next era of or Sabbath. So I get it. That's fine. It's just this is the first time where you're kind of like, man, Dio, you're fucking annoying, dude. And that's it's like if musically it's a cool record. There's a lot of things to love about this record. It's just Dio is now what we know as Dio. He wasn't this aggressive. He wasn't this Dio on Heaven and Hell. He just wasn't. But now it's fucking obnoxious and I hate it. The title track, Mob Rules, I don't really like this song that much, but it's funny because of the way he says Mob Rules. And I thought it was, he probably thought it was so cool. And he's like, oh, it probably sounds so good. And it's so fucking dumb. But I also like to sing it the same way that he does it. So whatever. And then Country Girls, my stinker. This is just a typical song of this kind of sound. Chuggy guitars that follow the same riff the whole time. It all slows down to the bridge and only like crescendo into this pretty pathetic solo. And ugh,
Ugh.
this is just typical bullshit. Bullshit.
All right. So my number 11 is Heaven and Hell.
You're crazy.
Ninth record.
You're crazy.
Ninth record from 1980.
That's wild.
From 1980.
You think
This
13's better than you think Technical Ecstasy is better than Heaven and Hell?
Yeah, that's why I ranked Heaven and Hell here. Because once again, I'm not a big fan of Dio. I think he's over the top. I think he's goofy as hell.
Wow.
I don't care for his vocals really at all. But he goes for it. I mean, if that's what he's into. If that's what people like, then
Full
go
send,
for it.
baby. Full send.
And he's a great singer. He was an amazing singer. Just not my thing. And musically, this is very much of like the Never Say Die Technical Ecstasy era. Very that kind of like that pop metal sound that they were doing on those last two records. It's still that musically, but with Dio vocals. They had another like session the bass player from Rainbow played bass on the entire record, and then Geezer's like, you know what, I'm coming back. He re-recorded all the bass, so that's a nice fuck you.
That's what you do when you come back. Absolutely, I don't blame him.
And then Bill Ward, he left halfway through the sessions. He played on all the songs, I believe, but yeah, he left halfway through because his alcoholism got so bad he couldn't even get it together anymore, so he had to leave. I don't know. It's not my thing. Also, a story from this record is wild too. How Tony Iommi doused when Bill Ward was drunk out of his mind and passed out. He doused him with like tape fluid or like some like highly flammable liquid, and then lit him on fire while he was sleeping. That's wild, man. He had like massive 3rd-degree burns on parts of his body and shit. That's nuts. That's
fuck around, find out.
So, just not my thing. Whatever, people love it. That's cool too. Banger, Neon Nights opening song, absolute fucking banger. It's fast. That riff is fucking phenomenal. Once again, Tony shreds on this one with his guitar. Stinker, Children of the Sea. This song sucked. It was stupid. It was boring. This was originally done by Ozzy for Technical Ecstasy, but it wasn't used for that record. And then, or I think it was, or maybe it was when they were going to record the next album after Never Say Die. I think that's what it was. And so they never properly recorded it with Ozzy. They gave it to Dio. Supposedly has a very different melody, obviously different lyrics. But yeah, it's my stinker. Children of the Sea, banger, Neon Nights.
He's like
so good.
Fucking die for your Ozzy era of Sabbath, even though it's not all great.
We'll see. We will see. So what do you got for number 10? Go.
Number 10. That's it, right? There's no, what other fucking non-Ozzy record have you not said?
We'll get into it.
Born Again? You think Born Again's better than Heaven and Hell?
I don't know.
That's stupid. Number 10, Technical Ecstasy. For sure. Sometimes like experimenting isn't always the best idea, but I will I respect it. I do. There's this this one just is like ugh. There's a lot of keyboards here that have no business being here. There's also a pretty fucking bad song sung by Bill, which I guess they thought was a good idea because they do it again on the next record. I just like, dude, that song. I like the idea of a band not wanting to do the same thing over and over, like the same old, and I'll always commend someone for trying something different. But I think maybe a better approach here would have been to maybe do like a prog metal thing, right? Maybe get more into like a really technical fucking thing where
a technical ecstasy.
Yeah, but it's not technical. All it is just some keyboards. Like we just plugged in another instrument that we haven't used before, and that's the technical like what the fuck? No, that's silly. It's just it missed a mark. It missed a mark, but it's still a fun Sabbath record. I would never ever get this on the vinyls. I would never. No fucking way. It's just too dumb. There's too many meh songs and there's a stinker. But Dirty Woman, this is a nice ending to an otherwise like okay record. It's a good throwback to classic Sabbath. Heavy, catchy, chuggy guitars, iconic like Iommi tone in the solo. But She's Gone, fuck, that's a stinky ballad. That's something, dude. That's something.
That's fair.
And why the fuck? Who thought Bill could sing? Like, why did they kept doing it?
He's not a bad singer.
Yes, he is. He's a bad singer.
He's not terrible.
But it doesn't belong. But he's bad.
But it doesn't belong. It doesn't belong on these records.
No, definitely no business being on these fucking records.
All right, so that's your number 10, Technical Ecstasy. That is also my number 10.
Good.
From 1976, Sabbath record from 1976. To me, this is the beginning of the end. They claim it was Sabotage, but I think it was really this one. They decided to record it in Miami, Florida, when these guys are massive drug addicts. So they go to the cocaine capital of the world, essentially, the only one outside of Colombia. And at this point, they didn't know what way to go. Punk was kind of blowing up, but they didn't want to make a punk record. Tony Iommi wanted to make a Foreigner type record, and that's kind of what you got here. It's kind of this kind of generic pop rock of the 70s, and I do hear a ton of Foreigner on this record, just not as good as Foreigner.
Dude,
I'm not even a big Foreigner guy.
Sucks.
Yeah, and this is not nearly the best fucking Sabbath or Ozzy Sabbath record, but it does have its moments. Backstreet Kids, it's my banger. Just one of the more hard-hitting songs on the record. In the end, Tony's coming out with a lot of fucking super rad riffs. Stinker is It's All Right, the Billboard, led song. Just stupid. That
song sucks.
And the addiction got so bad that after they recorded this record, when Ozzy went right back to England and actually checked himself into an asylum because his drug use got so out of control while he was in Miami. That's how fucking bad it was during the recording process of this. So pretty wild. So that's my number 10, Technical Ecstasy. All right, so what do you got for number 9?
The world is coming. Number 9, Never Say Die. Ding, 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 ding.
Wow, that's low. That's really low.
It's not that low, though. It's not that low. Never Say Die, their 8th record, opens up really, really strong with the title track. Never Say is a fucking banger. It is an absolute banger, beyond banger. But there's too much dumb experimenting here. Like the bluesy closer, again, with your boy Bill singing. You love him as a singer. Just not fucking good. God damn, it's terrible. But like, we're talking like a good kind of like opener, and then it just goes downhill from there until it bottoms out at the end. And that's why this is here. But again, Never Say Die is just, it's a good, I shouldn't even say it's good like classic Sabbath. It's just a good, strong Sabbath song after hearing so much shitty Sabbath before it. Because I went backwards, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. You did go backwards when you listen.
So like that's why this is here, because it's not it's even Never Say Die. It's not like a great song. That's a weird kind of guitar riff to that, almost like that Nirvana-esque kind of thing going on. But it's cute. It's fine. Breakout, like dude, this is the obvious stinker on Never Say Die. Breakout sucks. That's a shit song. It's a shit. It's a stinker. It's not a bad song. It's a stinker.
Yeah, it is a stinker. Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, that's fine.
It's not vinyl
Buckle
worthy.
up. Buckle up. All right, so my number
That's the
9.
reality. Nah, no, nobody would ever do that.
My number 9 is not.
too
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. That is. I can't even joke around with that. My number 9 is "Born Again," 11th record from 1983.
How?
How? Why? The only record that Ian Gilliam sang on. I like this record. I think production wise, it sucks because they when they were recording the record, they didn't realize that the speakers are blown out. So they were listening to essentially like a bad version of the record, but the way that they kind of fucked with the board, it made it sound good and okay. They weren't they weren't, asked about the mix. Like, oh, does the mix sound good? They just fucking mixed it, put the record out, and that was the first time the band heard
Are
it.
you doing coke over here or something? Why are you touching your nose like every fucking 5 seconds?
My mustache
Christ, dude.
got in my nose and it's like really tickling it. That's why.
So you fucking all the cocaine you've been eating and shit.
Yeah, you see it in my mustache, bro. I don't remember right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is kind of a weird record. It's more blues-esque, like a blues rock record. But I really like it. I thought it was really good. I thought Ian Gillian did a great job. There's a lot of moments where he sounds, the way he wails and kind of screams is very Axl Rose, like good Axl Rose on Appetite. And some of the heaviest stuff, since the early Ozzy era. Great heavy songs on this one. Some thrash riffage too, which is really awesome.
Thriffage.
Thriffage. This is a good record though. Honestly, I do like this record. I wouldn't get it on vinyl, but I wouldn't mind listening to it again. I thought it was a lot of fun. Going to the artwork. Yeah, the artwork's terrible. I know you love it. So it was done by this guy. Do you really not
like it?
It's fine. It's funny. And then reading the story behind it, it was done by this guy named Steve Jewell, and apparently he was really good friends with Ozzy, and he did Ozzy's, I think it was Blizzard of, oh no, Speak of the Devil. He did the cover album for Speak of the Devil, and he did the Sabbath record as like a fuck you to the band, not telling them that he did the Ozzy record and that he was friends with Ozzy. So he purposely made a bad.
But Speak of the Devil is shit too. That's fucking.
It's terrible
ugly.
too.
It's
yeah,
awful.
Yeah,
this guy just does bad artwork.
He does. No, he really
passes it off as if it's purposeful.
But then it's also like, damn, dude, it doesn't seem like the band have any control over anything, because this also was supposed to be. This wasn't supposed to be a Sabbath record. It was supposed to be a new band, but management, Sharon Osbourne's dad, her dad, and then also the label Vertigo, Warner Brothers. They said, no, you guys have to make this. Has to be a Sabbath record. You can't form a new band, and they were kind of pissed about that. But I like Born Again. There's some good shit on here. There's some really good shit on here. What were you gonna say?
Besides him, they said that, or I read that they also wanted Robert Plant. They considered Robert Plant.
Yeah, and
that would be fucking wild.
That would have been crazy. Also, Coverdale too. What's his real name?
David Coverdale.
Yeah.
That'd have been cool.
That'd have been cool. Yeah, because that first Deep Purple record he did. That's one of the best Deep Purple records. That record's so fucking good.
Something.
Second one, was it Stormbringer? That one fucking was awful.
Stormbringer's shit.
That is such like unbelievably bad record. But David Coverdale, great singer. Honestly, could have been great for this band. But also Robert Plant would have been wild. That would have been so crazy if they got.
Because like talk about like egos, right? Like goddamn, Robert Plant. Nah, that's not. There's no way. That never would have happened.
I don't even think a full record would have happened.
Nah.
But yeah, Born Again, banger, trashed the opener. Great opening songs, man. Stinker is the title track. Born Again, slower ballad. Musically, there's just not much here. I don't give a shit about the vocals. Otherwise, the record's good. It's solid. Born Again is a solid record. So what do you got for number 8?
Here we go. Number 8, 13. Your favorite record?
13. Oh.
Number 8. That's 8. This is 8th best Sabbath record. That's pretty good considering their first 4 is going to be top 4. That's solid. That's pretty good. It's not bad.
We'll see.
But it's fine, dude. It's a better Sabbath record than 72 Seasons was a Metallica record. But there are some goofy parts to this, and you can clearly hear these guys have slowed down in their intensity because of their age, and they're like heavily borrowing from their earlier catalog, which is fine, but it just does not make for top tier Sabbath. But it's a pretty heavy output overall, and I do like it. I enjoy it. But again, it's just like, man, you guys just sound like Sabbath, and I'm going to listen to that. I'm just going to listen to good Sabbath. Like, I know it's Sabbath, but that's the vibe I get from this. Damn it, Soul. This is cool because we get the fucking harmonica, baby. Ozzy with the harmonica on a Sabbath record just feels
Feels like home.
it's like putting on a good pair of jeans, right? Like, yeah, that's good. You don't got to worry about it. There's no fuss. You fucking throw them on. You listen to the harmonica, like, just feels right. The world feels right. Feels magical. Stinker, Zeitgeist, just dude, like you're not Orchid from Master of Reality. Stop. Too slow, too ballady, too dumb. Piss off.
Piss off. All right.
That's it.
So my number 8. Are you ready for this one? You ready?
What have you not?
Sabotage, baby. Sabotage, baby.
Oh, okay.
This one actually dropped. This one actually dropped a couple from my last rankings. This is their 6th record from 1975. This was recorded at a really weird time for the band. They were having a lot of contractual disputes with their management. A lot of lawsuits were happening. They're getting sued and cease and desist. Like they were literally on stage, and somebody came up and served Ozzy while he was on stage performing. That's like how fucking crazy it got. Nobody really liked recording this record. Apparently Tony was just super focused on getting guitar tones. Ozzy just wanted to like go in, get in and out, just record super quick, but it just wasn't the case. So he didn't enjoy making this record. But overall, I mean, you're seeing this progression into this pop metal thing that Sabbath was doing in the mid and late 70s. And it's good. Honestly, it's really good. The riffs are there. Every member brings it, does something really fucking cool. Super rad fills from Bill. Geezer, of course, ripping it up. Ozzy, way more melodic than you hear on a lot of Sabbath, early Sabbath records. So that's cool too. So I do like Sabotage a lot. I have this on vinyl. I'm going to keep it. It's a repress. I love the album art. People hate it, but I love the album. I think this is one of the dumbest, but also one of the best, album arts that they've ever had because it's so fucking silly.
It's so ugly. Like and just shows like how just they're all just fucked up. Like they just don't care about anything.
They
just
don't.
Let the lawyers do everything for us. That's what we pay them for.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot me pants.
In the end, this is just a lesser version of the Sabbath Bloody Sabbath record. Banger, Symptom of the Universe, top 10 Sabbath song. Right? This is a top 10 Sabbath song. That chugging guitar riff, come on, dude. That guitar tone, the guitar tone tune, too. That crunchy heaviness. Oh my god, it's so fucking good. Once again, Bill rips it up on this one with the drums. Stinker, Don't Start Too Late. Just a pointless acoustic interlude. Like we mentioned earlier, I didn't realize until this week how many pointless interludes there are on these Sabbath records.
Pointless,
but that's
a good
one
word.
Of them.
Pointless. They are 100% pointless.
But Symptom of the Universe, I mean, that song is just an absolute beyond banger. Probably top 10 Sabbath songs.
Okay. All right.
So my number 8, Sabotage.
You're saying stuff.
What do you got for number 7? Go.
Here it is. The thing that just tickles my fancy sometimes, and I like this record, and that's Heaven and Hell, baby girl.
That's just stupid.
This is a perfect reimagining of their sound, like without fucking it up. It's a solid record. It's exciting and fun, and it's great to hear Dio not sing like a fucking complete asshole. Right, he's not full asshole yet. He's just kind of like
he's pretty asshole though. He's pretty asshole.
But the full pretension is not quite there. He's not Holy Diver Dio. He's still kind of like I want to be Sabbath Dio. I want to do Ozzy justice. Because like after this, it just becomes like, nah, fuck it. I'm Dio. You play to me. Like he's doing Sabbath songs, and I like it. It's just not over the top goofy. It's and honestly, dude, like Ozzy he's pretty done after this, and people like Blizzard of Oz and people like Diary of a Madman. I don't. I think those records are kind of boring. I think like it's fun to listen to like a virtuoso guitar player play on those things, but overall, like, dude, that shit kind of sucks. Even like Crazy Train, that song is starts off as like one of the best and turns into kind of like meh,
one of the coolest riffs.
That was stupid. And so I don't get it. I think Ozzy was done at this point, and there's nobody else they could have got to do this record, even Ozzy, as good as Dio. Dio's perfect on this. That's it.
All right.
It's just
Just I can't stand Dio's vocal. I can't even
it's
even when
so
he
symphonic. It's so over the top. It's
yeah.
so grand and pretentious. And Dio can do all of that. But I just don't like when Dio does it for Dio. He's right here. He's still doing it for Sabbath. And I like that. Heaven and Hell title track, dude. It's 6 minutes long, and halfway through we get like just a perfect fucking jam sesh. A fun kind of like Fleetwood Mac, the chain kind of that drum roll, like and then dude Geezer just like slays this fucking song, and it is a banger of a song. And that's just like one. We get so many good like Iommi riffs that we have not like heard in 2-3 albums prior to this. He's soloing like it's fucking Master Reality. Like he's going for it.
Yeah.
This is a brand new band, right? Like this is a brand new band, and it sounds exciting and fresh. It's a good.
But it's so short lived too.
This is the only album that I think that sounds like this. I think after this, Dio became Dio, and it is just gross. This is like now he's just replacing Ozzy, and so we're still playing for Black Sabbath. After this, he became Holy Diver, and man, that song fucking sucks. I hate Holy Diver.
That song is terrible. Holy Diver is
so
a terrible
fucking
song.
bad. But like after this, B essentially just got Holy Diver Dio, and like
he's always going like this, like with his fist in there. Like,
oh my god,
Diver. It's I hate that.
Just an ugly fucking little hobbit singing terribly, and it's just everything about it is awful. But the worst song on this is Walk Away. It's kind of a shitty 80s style like filler song, but when you think about like 80s kind of like style shitty ballad filler songs, this is like 80, dude. This is 1980. Like it was 1980. So like we hadn't heard a lot of like shitty 80s filler songs. So like this is acceptable and passable because it's in the beginning of it. If this is like 89, like, man, you've been doing this for fucking 9 years. Like, no, you've been doing this for like a month. So I give it a little bit of a pass. I do like this record. We have a copy at the store. I'm gonna take it home. I'm gonna listen to it at my house because I do.
And then you're gonna realize, wow, this is not that good.
I do. I listened to this one like 2 or 3 times. Well, we also had like a couple of weeks to do it, but I did. I listened to this like 2 or 3 times, and it was good.
2 or 3 times.
2 or 3 times.
2 or 3 times. All right. What was your stinker then?
Oh, that was the one I just Walk Away, Renee.
Oh yeah, okay. All right, my number 7 is Never Say Die, 8th record from 1978. The last one with Ozzy until he came back for the 13 album. This is it's good. It's very experimental. There's like jazz elements to this one. But musically, also there's some really good riffage on this one. The songs are really cool. There's some good catchy stuff. The title track, Never Say Die, absolute fucking banger. Absolute fucking banger. It's obviously a huge departure from the earlier records, but it's a ton of fun. Like I feel like this is what they were trying to do on Technical Ecstasy, but they were really strung out on this record, but they were even more strung out on Technical Ecstasy. Yeah. But here they at least they tried to like make a Sabbath record, unlike Technical Ecstasy where they were trying to do a Foreigner record. And it shows, and there's some great shit here. Tony does some really cool stuff. In the end, they were just kind of going through the motions. Even Ozzy quit at some point during this. And then there was a guy named Dave Walker. I forgot what band he was in, but he actually wrote a few songs or like several songs with Tony for this record. And he played a show with Sabbath as Sabbath on some TV show or some BBC show. And you can listen to the recording. I forgot what song it was right now that he did, but eventually Ozzy eventually redid that song. But yeah, Dave Walker like replaced Ozzy for a little bit, and then Ozzy eventually came back. They kicked out Dave, and Ozzy was like, "I'm not going to do any of those songs that you wrote with Dave. Fuck him." Blah 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 blah. And then they pretty much had to start from scratch on this record. But yeah, then you get, like I said, you get the song "Never Say Die," just an absolute fucking banger. God, it's so good. The way that just it's so simple. Just the ringing out of those big power chords. Bun, dun. It's so stupid. It's so poppy, but I love it. It's very, very good. Stinker's Breakout. Yeah, this mess of a song with it's an instrumental with the saxophone. Even Ozzy said
sucks, dude.
Ozzy said, I will never play this song again. Like I will never play this song ever. It's terrible. This is not Black Sabbath. Yeah, he hated that song. I mean, it would have been cool if they started doing like this jazz thingy, because there's another song on here that's very jazz influenced, but Breakout was just bad. It was straight up bad. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. This is truly the end of the band. They were so fucked up on drugs and booze and alcohol, all that kind of shit. This is the end. This is the end. And honestly, I'm surprised they even like they survived. Like all of them, all four of them, not even just Ozzy, but they were all equally as bad. Just Ozzy was more outward with his addiction. But anyway, that's my number 7. Never Say Die. Have it on vinyl. And from here on out, I have on vinyl. So that's my number 7. What do you got for number 6?
Number 6, Sabotage, their 6th record. I like to think of this one as a good precursor to what could have been a great technical ecstasy. There's a lot of experimenting on this one, and I think they should have continued that path. But like, keep like the heart of Sabbath sound alive, right? Like, don't not be a metal band. You can still do other things, but still be a fucking metal band, dude. There's heavy shit here, but there's also some like new ways to present their iconic sound, right? Like the choir, like doing the harms, because Ozzy was like, "Oh, that's a fucking great song and a great riff, and I don't think I can do it. Let's hire a choir." It's still a heavy fucking song, but now we have a choir doing it. Like, come on, dude. That's progressive for these guys. That's experimenting. That's cool. I like that. Technically, is absolutely trash. This is better than that. And that's why it's here. But yeah, Sims of the Universe, dude. This is like top 10 Sabbath for sure. Like, absolutely.
Yes.
It's a thrash song. It is fucking metal. It's heavy. It's gross. It's everything that you want from all of the best eras of Sabbath, and it's better than that. It's insanely good, and it goes somewhere. It's not just like the one heavy riff throughout the 6 minutes. Like, it goes in like 3 different directions and becomes 3 equally amazing songs. It's a beyond banger. Yeah. The worst song, Am I Going Insane? This, like, here and now, it was hard to pick a worst song, so it's just here's one part that I thought was funny and goofy, so therefore it is the worst song. But it's the way he says the word insane. He goes like insane like that. I just thought that was kind of silly. But this is a cool song too.
There was one time not too long ago when I was at your record store and we listened to this record in your store. And that was like the whole thing for the day where we were just singing that part.
Insane.
Or maybe it was something. I don't know if it was that album or what. Or Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath.
You have to pick something, right? And that's what I picked. But even this song itself is like this very Beatles-esque pop approach to their normal metal music. So I still respect it and what they were doing. This is like, if we're talking like prog Sabbath, this is maybe like their proggiest in the Aussie area. Like, Technical Ecstasy is just a bad version of this. This is so much better in every way.
It is. Also, I do have, like I said, I do have Sabotage on vinyl. I was wrong. I do have Sabotage and Onward on vinyl.
You have everything on the Aussie area except for Technical Ecstasy.
Yeah, that's correct.
I know you don't have it because now it's at my store.
Because it's your store, yeah. I literally just purged it a couple weeks ago. Or a month ago. Yeah. I agree. So my number 6 is 13. Their last record, their 19th record from 2013. This one, Rick Rubin produced this one. My boy Rick Rubin produced it. At this point, they were going to do this as the OG4 with Bill Ward back on drums, but contractual disputes happened and Bill wanted a better deal. And the band said, no, fuck you, you're out. And so instead, got the session drummer, Brad Wilk, great fucking drummer, Rage Against the Machine. He played drums on here. I remember hearing a podcast he did or an interview he did a few years ago. And he was talking about, they asked him about this, what happened there. And he's like, he thought he was going to be the touring drummer as well. And he was expecting the call, but he never got the call. Like he played on the record fully thinking he was going to play on tour, but they never called him. They got Vinny Appice to play the final Sabbath tour.
Which makes more sense than having Brad Wilk.
Yeah, cheaper, honestly. Probably
he's cheaper, and he already knows, and he's already a part of the team, and he's been a part of the team, and people are going to come to see him more than they're going to come to see Brad Wilk.
True. And honestly, Brad Wilk was only really on the record because of his relationship with Rick Rubin. I mean, and that's no disrespect to Brad Wilk because he is a great drummer, and his performance on this record was fantastic. He has some really cool, catchy parts. Great fucking feels.
It's great.
He does kind of throw it back to like more of a Bill Ward style, and in the end, they kind of have a similar style. Brad is a more refined drummer than Bill, but in the end, it was it was a great throwback record. I thought it was fantastic. You and Skip talk so much shit on this one, but it's still a great fucking
I
record.
ranked it 8.
But all you did was talk shit on it. It's a great
because
fucking record.
It's a throwback record from a bunch of old guys, except for the drummer.
Okay,
like,
and it's still
let's
good.
make a throwback record, but like let's not get the drummer. Like, you get the fuck out of here. That's stupid.
Yeah, honestly, it's really dumb that it couldn't just be like, okay, Bill, we'll pay you X amount of dollars. Just fucking play on this record.
Just pay what he fucking wants. Who cares?
I know they're gonna make it up in troves. You know what I mean?
Who cares?
That was stupid. But anyway, no, it's a great record. There's some great vocals on some of Ozzy's best vocals are on this record. Some of the catchiest shit he's done during the Sabbath era are on this record. Some great riffs.
God is dead.
It's so good.
Bro, like this is the 2000s. Nobody's shocked by that anymore.
Okay, but this is
no one's shocked
lyrics.
by that.
It's the lyrics, but musically it's great. The melodies were a lot of fun. They're catchy as hell.
Then they're fine.
Once again, Brad did a great job with the fills transitioning between parts. Like what you just said, that God is dead. And then that fucking fill that Brad does, killer transitioning into the big fucking Tony riff.
Dude, we just don't need every fucking song to be like 6-7 minutes long. God. Good Lord. Ugh.
Whatever. So my banger is Live Forever. Stinker is Zeitgeist. Live Forever is really, really fucking catchy. And just the once again, the drums, Brad killing it on the drums, playing to the song, much like Bill used to play to the song. So, I mean, honestly, Brad was a great fit for this record. Zeitgeist, just kind of a boring kind of acoustic song, kind of like they were trying to do another Planet Caravan, which is an amazing song off Sabbath. And in the end, 13 it's like a ripoff of Sabbath, the first record from 69, or was it 69?
69.
Yeah. Got him. So yeah, it's my number 6 is 13. So what do you got for number 5?
Number 5, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. I'm thinking maybe you put Volume 4 here, and then Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and then I'm thinking Master, and then I'm thinking Paranoid, and then I'm thinking Sabbath. That's what I'm calling it. That's what I'm saying.
Buckle up, bud. What do you got for number 5?
Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, 5th record.
Oh yeah, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath.
Writer's block and fatigue were the two things that started the downhill spiral of Sabbath. This record is solid overall, but like Tony is definitely tired, and he's tired of like doing a lot of the fucking writing. So there's a lot of like tension already built up. So because of that, you're getting a lot of songs that are like beyond bangers for Sabbath, but then you're kind of getting songs that are like you probably could have done a little bit better if you had a little bit more time, if you had a little bit more energy, if you had a little bit more help. Sabracadabra, right? Certified fucking banger for them. And it may be like, that may be the best jam song they've ever put out. Like ever. Yeah. Any record over the course of their career. Ozzy's yell on this record, I think, is pretty top notch. The way he screams, I like it. And it's a better yell than I think he's done prior to this. Mm-hmm. But there are definitely like filler parts, like Fluff, aptly named Fluff. That's filler. My stinkers, Who Are You? I do like the song, but I just think it's a little bit too goofy. I think it just needs a little bit of fine tuning to make it into like a top notch Sabbath song, because the bones are there. Thong.
Sabbath
Cisco.
thong.
A Sabbath thong. What's my
Sabbath
Michael
thong.
Strahan gap in my teeth? A thong. or Mike Tyson. National Acrobats.
For that, though.
National Acrobat is my banger though, because that's a banger of a song, and end with this like nice little speed metal thing, and it's just kind of like, damn, that's a good song. And then the last 30 seconds or whatever it is like, whoa, you guys never done that before. That was cool.
Was it 5 albums in, right?
Yeah. They just never needed to. There was never a need for it, right? Like they're just, I don't know. We'll get more into like what they've done before this as we get to the rankings. But yeah, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, 5th record. My number 5. I think that's an appropriate number 5.
Mind you, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath came out in 1973. Sabbath came out in 69. So this is 5 albums in 4 years. This is like the Fleetwood Mac kind of thing.
Well, you CCR over here, fucking just cranking them out. That's crazy.
All these like wildly different records, but they all came out within a few years of each other.
Wild.
It is. Um, all right, so my number 5 is Volume 4. Fourth
Isn't that what I
record.
said? That's what I said. Yeah.
You did say that, yeah.
Good. Good.
Fourth record from 1972. Once again, 3 years in since their first record, and you got their fourth record already. Um, there's nothing wrong with this one. Crushing riffs. There's some psychedelic shit thrown in here, which is really cool. They moved away from a lot of the darker stylings from Sabbath up through Master of Reality. Those first 3 records, you're truly seeing the transition of this band into a more pop metal thing, a more pop metal sensibility. Um, this is also the first album they produced by themselves. They stepped away from I forgot who the producer's name who did the first 3 records, but they did this themselves. They recorded it at the record plant in LA. Um, this is where the drugs got really fucking intense as well.
So much.
Yeah, it got fucking wild. They started snorting heroin at this time as well. After they recorded this record, they were playing on stage, and Tony Iommi passed out because he went on like a 3-4 day bender, and he just passed out on stage or on the side of the stage or something. But regardless, it was during the show he passed out because he was on such a crazy bender. Bill Ward was almost fired because his drinking got so bad. This was like the first big incident regarding his drinking. So it's just
so good.
It was wild. And then going back to the crazy shit that they used to do, especially like pranks, especially towards Bill Ward, they decided to spray paint him with gold paint, but they left no opening for the paint. And when you do that, your pores clog, and you essentially your skin suffocates. And he was hospitalized and all that kind of shit.
Wasn't there a famous movie that did that to some girl?
There was. It's Goldfinger, dude.
Goldfinger.
But yeah, he had a seizure and probably almost died. And yeah. Anyway, Volume 4 is wild. But yeah, this is the beginning of the pop metal Sabbath era. Banger, Supernaut, love that guitar riff, super deep sounding bass line underneath it all. It's great. Really? Changes is my stinker. I've never liked Changes.
Get out of here.
I've never liked that song. On. And you claim to like it. When you were out here last weekend, dude, we listened to Volume 4 on vinyls, and yeah, just you were talking about, oh my God, this song's so good. Changes is so good. You're an idiot. So what do you got for number 4?
Number 4 is Paranoid.
Okay.
It's like, it's not Paranoid. It's Volume 4. That's number 4. This record has it all. It's like you said, it's got psych rock jams. It's got classic, like heavy, just disturbing Sabbath, and it's got a piano ballad. And I don't care because Changes is a fucking banger. It's so good. Like how it was like conceptualized is great. Its execution is great. It's long, but it's not too long. It kind of does a couple things that are a little bit different. And Ozzy just wails, and it's fun to hear Ozzy wail, especially in this era, because it's you thinking like probably like, man, he probably doesn't know what the fuck he's even saying. He's just like yelling, right? He's probably like reading from a piece of paper and doesn't even fucking know, because later on when he's doing the Speak of the Devil tour, he was reading from a piece of paper because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And that's cool, man. That's a rock star, dude. This album is their most rock star album that they've ever put out. So much drugs. And there was a quote that I saw too about Bill Ward's drinking that I thought was like, damn, that's fucking, first of all, that's a red flag, but it's also fucking hard as fucking. I like it. But he said Bill was a drinker, but rarely appeared drunk.
Oh yeah,
like, damn, dude, that's like as a fan, I think that's so rock star, dude. But like as a person, like, dude, that's a red flag, bro. Like that guy needs help.
Red flag, yeah.
Dude needs help. But like, oh, it's so cool. He was a heavy drinker, but rarely appeared drunk. Oof, that's something. But yeah, Supernaut, dude. Supernaut's like, I don't know, man. I do love Changes a lot, and I do go back and forth between the two, but like you just can't fuck with Supernaut. That's top tier Sabbath. I think Supernaut's also top 10, like greatest Sabbath song of all time. Even though like Tomorrow's Dream borrows from Supernaut, but like Supernaut, like that, just right when you hear that ding 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 ding,
that's so good.
Like quiet hi-hats in the back, and also like you think of vroom vroom vroom. It's a perfect song. But Cornucopia, that's probably my least favorite. Great song, but like we already heard that bass line in Supernaut, right? That ring down. So like I don't know. I had to pick something here, and I don't like picking it here, and I sure shit don't like picking my worst song from my top 3. It was hard, and I like doing it, but it's kind of fun doing it, and I don't like doing it.
Okay, that's fair.
That's it.
All right, so my number 4 is you ready for this one?
Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath.
Paranoid, baby. Second record
it's
from
not.
1971. Yeah, it is. Paranoid. Second record
You think
from 71.
Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath is better than Paranoid?
Honestly, I'm just as surprised as you. I really am.
No,
I really enjoyed.
You better wait for that fucking 6 a.m. fucking skip call, baby boy.
I mean, I've obviously Paranoid is a perfect album. Like you can't deny Paranoid is a perfect album, but it has to be put someplace.
You're cruising for a bruising, dude.
This is their most successful record. It was recorded just 4 months after the release of Sabbath. Most of the songs were written during like jamming on stage. And you could hear that. You could hear that in several of the songs. It is a very jammy sounding record. And Paranoid was the last written song for this one. It was written and recorded in 25 minutes. It was a throwaway song, ends up being one of their most popular songs. I love this record. I really, really, truly love this record. Maybe it's as low as it is because of just how overplayed it is, how overplayed War Pigs, how overplayed Paranoid, and especially Iron Man. Come on. Iron Man's my stinker. Iron Man is my stinker on this one.
Okay, so I see what we did. We didn't actually try to pick a stinker. We chose the most obvious.
No, but it is the stinker because you look at all of the other songs. I mean, every other song on here is just an absolute beyond banger, and so is Iron Man. But you have to put it someplace. You have to put it someplace in the sequence of all these songs, and it's the lowest. It's the cheesiest.
Iron Man.
Iron Man's the cheesiest. It's so ridiculous and dumb how Ozzy just kind of like follows the guitar riff with the vocals. It's just,
but like
it's so.
It's one
I get
of,
it. It's iconic
riffs of all fucking time.
I get it. But it's like Deep Purple's "Smoke on the Water." Great fucking song, but also really stupid and cheesy. It's the same
they don't
idea.
Sing over that fucking riff because it's only 3 notes. Iron Man's a lot longer than that.
It's double the time. Yeah.
Did you ever since we're just on Iron Man now, and I'm just gonna talk over you because I want to. Did you ever sing the alternate version of Iron Man when you were like you're around the boys on the playground and you would say mean things? No. Oh, okay. I'll tell you what it was off. I'll tell you what it was off pod. Then it's pretty bad.
I'm sure it was, especially if it was in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah,
sure was. So that's my stinker. Banger, Electric Funeral. I just love the ebbs and flow of this song and where it goes. Absolute banger of a song. Once again, Paranoid's not a bad record. It's a perfect record, actually. But you got to put some of these songs somewhere. But it was very, very rushed. So, whatever. Paranoid, my number 4. What do you got for number 3?
So, like, I would have accepted, because my number 3 is Paranoid.
Well, you're going to have to accept whatever I said.
I would have accepted Volume 4, because I do think Volume 4, they tried to do things different, and it came out really, really well. But Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, I don't think I can accept as worse than Paranoid, or better than Paranoid. So, we'll just go and redact that. Redacted, as Gina would say. Redacted. Paranoid. Like you said, this is a perfect record. Their second album is like I don't know, some of a pop record, right? This is I think this is like a pop record because there are insane melodies, there are catchy structures, but it keeps all of the metal from their first. And sometimes even like heavier and scarier, like that Electric Funeral. Like that's what the fuck are you doing? You're just being an obnoxious pig, and that's obnoxious, and I like it. But this kind of is like a pop version of their first record, and it's weird to even say that because it's not in any way, shape, or form. But like, my God, dude, they made some catchy fucking songs. Mm-hmm. And you think that Iron Man is this dude? Rat Salad is the worse song than Iron Man. You're fucking wild here. That's that's just stupid. Iron Man is a banger through and through. That's not the worst song in any capacity. It's
an absolute banger. Absolute banger.
I'm not saying that it's not. I'm saying that you choosing that as the worst song is stupid. Rat Salad is my least favorite song. That's the only correct answer. But War Pigs, dude. It's got to be War. It's always War Pigs. It will always be War Pigs. It will always be War Pigs. What a fucking intro. Keep that weird, like, mysterious edge from the first record, but just kind of make a better song out of it. Because even though like it's weird, it has all these broken riffs and quirky parts, you feel that beat immediately, right? As soon as it starts, you're like, okay, I see where we're going here. And then Tony's early solo builds on itself so perfectly and turns into like 3 different fucking solos all at once. To think this is not the banger on this album is just,
well, I mean,
it's not the dumbest thing you've said today, but it's one of them for sure. Top 3 dumbest things you said on this podcast today. That's
okay.
That's something. Paranoid, my number 2. I have a second press on Vertigo of this one. Just throwing that out there. It's a UK press.
Lucky guy. Lucky guy.
I think I'm pretty lucky.
All right. My number 5 or number 3 is Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, fifth record from 1973. This is more of an upbeat record, faster tempos. The riffs are still killer. Like you're still getting these killer fucking riffs that you hear off Paranoid and Master of Reality, but it's done just with just better not better melodies, but just poppier, catchier melodies. You hear some synthesizers. They're experimenting a little bit on this record. Rick Wakeman actually came in from Yes, played on Sabracadabra. Yes, which is a cool story. I mean, the whole story of this whole record is cool too. So they went out, they came out to California, they rented a house in Bel Air. They were all fucked up on drugs, and Tony couldn't think of anything, and the rest of the guys were useless without Tony, because Tony really is the main songwriter. So then after like 2 weeks, they're like, you know what, fuck it, let's go back to England. They rented a castle out in like, I don't know, Shropshire. I don't even know where.
Gloucestershire.
Gloucestershire.
I don't know if that's how you say it, but that's what it looks like. Gloucestershire.
Gloucestershire. Man, Skip's going to be so mad.
It's pronounced nugget, ain't it? It's probably going to say something like that. Something totally off.
So no, it was called the Clearwell Castle somewhere in England. And they recorded the record there. They were recording in like they were rehearsing and shit and writing in the dungeons of this castle. And they were pulling pranks on each other to the point where like they were like going to bed with like knives and shit in case like a monster came to get them. Like they were just completely out of their fucking minds on this record. Eventually they finished the recording in London, and you just get this just crazy pop metal record with just a lot of weird experimentation. Also, this is the infamous time when John Bonham came to the studio, because he obviously was a huge fan of Sabbath, came into the studio and they jammed for like 2 hours, and it was all recorded but never ever released. So hopefully someday within our lifetime those recordings are released, but everybody always talks about them.
I hope it's never released. I hope whoever owns that just burns them and is gone forever.
Oh, that'd be wild.
That's what I want.
Can you imagine Tony, Geezer, and John Bonham jamming? That's insane. That would be insane.
It's crazy. Also, like when so on Sabracadabra, when Rick's playing like the keys, it's like objectively like, damn, whoever's playing the keyboards is really fucking good. Not to say these guys are bad, but because they're doing this kind of metal music, you don't ever hear them be like, whoa, that's like a contemporary pop kind of like really fucking good. Right? Like when he starts playing the keys,
I totally agree.
It stands out like, holy shit, that guy's fucking really good.
Yeah, and they didn't pay him money for this. They're like, just drink a bunch of our beer. Like we have a bunch of beer.
That's all
they paid him in beer. They paid Rick Wakeman in beer to play on that song, and that's super cool. That they were just like so chummy with him. Like they were just friends with him. They were hanging out.
Cool for
partying.
A keyboardist for sure.
But also Rick Wakeman is like one of the best. One of the fucking best. You can't deny that.
But it's a keyboard. It's not rock and roll. It's keyboard.
But Rick Wakeman was more than just that, you know. Yeah, he was.
That's it.
But anyway, yeah, no, I was very shocked how much I really enjoyed Sabbath Bloody Sabbath this week. I listened to it a few times, or not this week, over the last 3 weeks, because it's been so long since we've last recorded. But I've gone back and I've listened on vinyl and on Spotify, and I've listened in various ways, and something about this really, really resonated with me. I've always loved the artwork as well. And then my banger, Sabracadabra. Can't go wrong with that fucking song. That riff is iconic. That riff is almost, to me, it's almost as iconic as Iron Man.
Easy there, Tiger. Easy there, Tiger.
It's up there. It's a top 3 catchiest riffs from the Sabbath era.
Yeah, but like Sabracadabra doesn't like bridge genres and like pop mediums.
Only because it's a little bit more difficult to play than Iron Man. That's really the only reason why.
Yeah, but Iron Man, like kids and fucking playing like juice of soccer, like little league soccer, fucking know what Iron Man is. People that dude, like it's everybody knows Iron Man. It's just it's entered like this I don't know, this sphere of being just part of like what the fuck you call that, like the norm of
The
society. Like everybody
zeitgeist.
knows the zeitgeist of the collective consciousness. Everybody knows Happy Birthday. Everybody knows fucking Jingle Bells.
Everybody
Everybody
knows
knows
Iron
Iron
Man.
Man. Just straight up, like that's fucking that's damn near a
I get what you're
fact.
saying. I get what you're saying.
That's how and you're right, that does play into a part of like, oh, it's fucking overplayed. Like, yeah, dude, if Sabbath had invented like Jingle Bells or like Happy Birthday, I probably would think the same thing. But like Iron Man, it's right there.
Yep. So that's my banger. Sabracadabra, stinker, fluff, acoustic interlude. Not bad, just not
It's
necessary.
fluff. It's not
Yeah,
necessary.
it's fluff. So what do you got for number 2?
This was tough. I actually changed these today. I will say
No,
I did.
wow.
I swapped these today. Because like
Okay.
I'm just so tired of the fucking album of the week, and I can't wait to get into it. But so I had to listen to a lot of Aussie era Sabbath, and today I switched these. But number 2 is Sabbath, their first record, and this is an easy record to put at number 1. It was my number 1 for like at least a week and a half. It's simultaneously sloppy and thrown together, but also incredibly inventive and groundbreaking. Right, just the
Yeah.
whole use of like an accidental tritone and how they came up with that opening riff and just Tony just missed a note and was like, oh fuck, that sounds weird as fuck, dude. Let's do that. And then that became Black Sabbath, and Black Sabbath. And it's just it's wild. And I think they did this in one day because they thought like, oh, 2 days is way too much. If we do one day recording and then one day in the studio, like that's 2 days. That's a crazy amount of time. Dude, what? Like what?
I
What?
know.
Like, okay, all right, fuck it, whatever. Let's do it live. And these songs came out. These songs came out perfect. They came out kind of fucking frightening, and just the whole aesthetic of this album is a concept that you didn't even think fucking existed back in this day, right? Like even the big ones coming out, because even like Hendrix were using the same kind of like tones that Sabbath was doing here, but Hendrix was a man, and he wasn't like a concept the way like Sabbath was. This is an overall. This is like the Rocky Horror Picture Show of 1970. Like everything about this fits the concept. It's a concept album without actually being like a conceptual thing, but every single song fits into this specific category. The artwork does. All of these guys, the way they dress, the way they look, the way they play, fucking everything about this is it's like a fucking play, dude. It's like a fucking Shakespeare play. It's wild, it's crazy, it doesn't make any fucking sense, and you guys were high for doing this in 1970 because no one's gonna listen to this shit. But here we are. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I think
no,
it's
it
crazy.
is. It is. It is.
NIB, dude, writing a song from the
So
perspective of the devil himself is just fucking like you're out of
in
your mind.
1970, that's wild.
You're out of your fucking mind for doing this. Wicked World. This is one I cheated on. Wicked World is my least favorite song.
Oh, you're an idiot.
It's just not as good as everything else, but it's not even like
That's
it's
crazy.
not even a part of like the classic track listing of Sabbath. So
Oy.
I'm gonna fuck.
Okay. All right. So my number 2 is Sabbath. This one's always been my favorite. This has always been my favorite Sabbath record until this week. And I have nothing bad to say about it. I think this is a beyond perfect record. I think what this has done for music, especially rock music, metal music. I mean, this created metal music. Some people could argue, well, Zeppelin was kind of doing it before. It's like, fuck no.
There are a lot of bands that were doing it before,
but not like this. But
not like this.
Not like this. I mean, maybe there was some obscure band in fucking Norway or Sweden that nobody gave a shit about, and still nobody gives a shit about. But Sabbath,
big bands.
But I mean, Sabbath. This record was unreal. And once again, going back not just to the music, but the artwork, the band name. I mean, they named themselves after a movie, and it was kind of like a fun thing that they did. They thought it was funny how people would pay money to go see a scary movie and to get scared, like just how stupid that is. And they thought, well, why don't we just do that with music? Why don't we just mold our whole brand and market our band just by being scary? And because that seems to be what people like, and it fucking worked. I mean, everything about this. Imagine in 1970, especially in England. Like England wasn't nearly as progressive as the United States was. Um, I mean, and that's not being offensive. It's just kind of like it's true, right? I mean, maybe Skip would have a different insight on that,
In
but
the
I
set, I
mean,
mean, this is coming out the coattails of like the whole '60s in the U.S. Progressive or not, but like racial tension in the U.S. We did progress throughout the '60s, getting into the '70s now. So yeah, musically maybe not, but socially, yeah.
yeah. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. Honestly, we talked about this record so much a year ago when we did this record on the podcast. We really broke it down a lot. But it's just truly iconic. And going back to what you said, I mean, they recorded this whole record in 12 hours in one day, mix it the next day, very little overdubs, even to the point where they went to mix it, they went to Switzerland, played a show for 20 francs or francs, whatever you want to say. And then they just came back to Birmingham the next day. Like it was just like another day for them. Like there was nothing important about this day, and that's super cool. It's super cool. I have an OG US pressing of this record because the US pressing is far superior. It doesn't have that stupid evil woman cover on it. Um, so I do have the OG, and I'm very happy about that. Desert Grooves Records, huge shout out.
Desert Groove Record,
That's
huge
where I
shout
got it
out.
from. And banger, Wicked World, that is my banger. I don't care. It's just a beyond banger. Stinker, it's not a stinker, but I had to choose one, and it's The Wizard because I'm not a fan of the harmonica. And god damn, that harmonica is so loud. It's so
It's
loud.
gotta be loud.
And Ozzy doesn't really know how to play the harmonica. He just kind of
He knows three
tries.
notes. He's a ring. That's really all he knows.
That's all he knows. Yeah. So, yeah, it's my banger stinker. Number one for both of us is obviously Master of Reality from
Yeah,
1971, third
Master
record.
Reality.
What do you
It's
got?
heavier, it's wilder, it's darker, it's scarier in so many ways. But it's also very, very tight. So like if I were to like gripe about it a little bit, it would just be like these guys are now realizing this is now our image. Let's really try and be musicians about it. Right. We
Mm-hmm.
see him take more time in the studio, double tracking guitars just to make everything very, very heavy, very massive. I'd like to see him do this in the style of Sabbath. Something very Feldy, first thought, best thought. Like go back in there and do Master Reality, but do it fucking gritty and nasty. That would be a fun listen. But I do think this is perfect. This is scary. This is frightening. Chill in the Graves, my banger. This is top 5 fucking Sabbath songs right here. Everything about this is perfect. It is necessary. The intro, which seems kind of weird, but no, it leads exactly to where the song wants you to be when the song kicks up. It sets the stage for this fucking chuggy nightmare of a song. It's fucking weird. After Forever, if I had to pick one, it would be this one. I like the staccato part in this because it sounds like a cool pop punk thing, but I guess that's the only reason I have to put it there. Because pop punk and Sabbath should never go together.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Now, I mean, this record was still. It took 2 weeks to record this. It's not like it took a year.
Compared to their first, that's a
compared
year.
to the first one. Yeah, I mean, but in the end,
because they
2
thought
weeks is
their
nothing,
first record took too long to record.
which is it's crazy.
2
It's
days.
crazy.
Well, one day plus dubs the
It's
next
like
day.
it's like you and I always talk about that Nirvana's Bleach, how that took 6 days to make, and we're like, oh my god, that's crazy how quick that took.
Yeah.
12 hours. 12 hours to do
12
Sabbath.
hours.
Arguably, or I mean, easily a much more influential record than Nirvana's Bleach. But I mean, this record is it's gloomier. It's more of the doom rock. This is like the beginning of doom rock. A lot of bands were inspired by this record. I mean, Kim Thale from Soundgarden cites this as the greatest Sabbath record ever made, possibly the greatest record ever made. I mean, a lot of what his guitar playing comes from is Master of Reality. I mean, when you hear early Soundgarden, you fucking hear it. Like there's straight up Sabbath riffs there. And that's not a knock to Kim because Kim's a great fucking guitar player, but you could certainly hear the Master of Reality style on those first couple Soundgarden records. Also, this is where, like, once again, or how piggybacking off of what you said, where they were trying to be more like musicians and make or write different or better songs. They decided to downtune their guitars a step and a half down to make it sound grittier and nastier and darker, but also to help Ozzy out but also Ozzy doesn't know how to sing really, so he still continued to do what he did he did,
So where the fuck
even
is
though
he do anyway?
even though they tried to make it easier for him, but he still sang in the same register, and Ozzy didn't change anything about his vocals for this record,
Never
even
has
though
to.
they tried. So, and also they were fucked up on this record. Like they were given a much bigger budget for this one, and they blew it all on drugs. They blew all of their budget on drugs.
Fuck yeah.
And yeah, they were fucked up. So
do it.
Master of Reality. Also, I love how simple the album artwork is. Just the black cover, the gray and purple writing. It's fantastic. Fucking fantastic. Simple, to the point. Love it.
Perfect.
But yeah, Master of Reality, my banger, Sweet Leaf, that coughing at the beginning, so dumb. Great riff, great fucking melody. I don't have a stinker. I don't care. I'm doing it again. I don't have a stinker. You can't even pick a stinker off this one.
I did.
Not even because you're dumb.
I did because I followed the assignment instead of like puss down. Like,
I'm a punker. I don't follow assignments, right?
You're something. You're something.
All right. So yeah, that's it for the rankings. Thank you all for listening. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars. Now we're gonna get into Forbidden, their not very good record for finishing up Easy Hard.
What I want to do after talking about Master Reality is get into fucking their worst record.
So yeah, thank you all for listening. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us a follow, smash that subscribe button on YouTube, and that's it. That's all.
Come on up.